I grew from 0 to 1,000 YouTube subscribers in 90 days, but I ignored most of the popular YouTube advice. Did not post twice a week, I did not pick a niche, and I did not just pull out my iPhone and start filming. So in this video, I'm going to share my 9-step YouTube strategy, which will hopefully be helpful if you are thinking of starting a channel too. And I will disclaim that my first 1,000 subs were not the result of one video going viral. I haven't been that lucky yet. If you're new here, I'm Maria and I'm a registered dietitian. Welcome to the channel. So like any other aspiring YouTubers on the internet, I have watched hundreds of YouTube videos about how to start a channel and how to grow. And the main recurring pieces of advice are just start and don't care what people think, and just use what you have, like your phone. Now, I chose to ignore both of these statements, which brings me to part 1 of my YouTube strategy. If you're going to do this, treat YouTube like a calculated business decision from the very beginning. YouTube is a lot of work. It's not something that you just start for the crack. Any new startup company or business does not start without doing a lot of market research first, looking at the competitors and figuring out if there's even a way for you to make money from this. And I viewed YouTube like this. It was a very thought through business decision. I did my research and I figured out that number 1, there was a gap on YouTube in the area that I wanted to break into. Number 2, that the return on investment for both time and money could potentially be worth it. And number 3, I had the time, resources and the ability if I applied myself to do this. And when I say time, I will disclaim that I do work full-time as a dietitian, but right now I don't have any kids or parents that need caring or any other big commitments. So instead of just starting on a whim with this whole YouTube thing, I decided that I was going to go all in. So once I had made the decision that I was going to take YouTube seriously, I invested like you would in any startup company in both time and money. If people are interested, I can do a whole other video on how I came to the decision to start, because there's lots of things that you need to consider. Now, this video is not about my channel. I want to give you strategies that you can take away for your channel, but I need to give you some background or use myself as an example for this to make sense. So October 2023, I published my first YouTube video. What you won't see if you go back and look at my channel is that 6 months prior to this, so back in April 2023, that is when I made the decision that I was starting YouTube. I came to that point where the fear of starting was no longer bigger than the fear of not starting at all. I always wanted to do YouTube. It was now or never, because who knows, maybe in a couple of years there might be like kids or something. So April, I made the decision, but 6 months later, I hit my first publish. So I gave myself a 6-month period to invest time and money into the craft of YouTube, learning how YouTube works, researching equipment, purchasing equipment, figuring out how to use the equipment, practicing scripting, practicing filming, practicing editing. The whole goal was for me to build a system so that when my first video would eventually go out, I would thereafter be able to consistently follow up with a video each week without too many bumps along the way. And for me anyway, and for a lot of people, starting YouTube can feel almost a little bit embarrassing at the start. But I knew that it would be more embarrassing if I was to start and then kind of like quit, or kind of maybe go back and just like not really ever, come and go. Or just be a bit flaky, or like start and then quit. And someone was congratulating me recently on my growth of 1,000 subscribers in a short enough space of time. And on reflection, my response was, the success is not actually having the subscribers. The success is building the system that allowed me to post and consistently post every single week since I started, and building that system and that process. And a byproduct of that has been reaching subscribers. So the first point in my strategy is, if you are going to do it, take it seriously. This may include investing financially. Everyone has different financial circumstances. But from the beginning, I did invest in a good camera, a good microphone, good lights, because I knew I wanted to come across as professional. Now, it still might not be any like crazy professional level, but at the end of the day, this YouTube channel is a professional representation of me. So if my videos are useless and potential clients stumble along and see them and they think, oh God, that's awful, I'm not going to email her or look into that, then it's not really going to help my situation. Now, I understand that investing financially may not be reasonable for everyone, and it is a risk. And like most things in business, they do tend to be quite risky. But for me, it made sense in the long term, and sometimes you do need to invest in your business for it to get off the ground and eventually become a business. Now, the next investment is just not debatable, but you have to put time into this. You can save on the fancy camera, but you cannot save on the time that you need to put into YouTube. No successful business is made overnight, and a YouTube channel is certainly not made overnight. And one of the benefits of my 6-month process was giving me time to make mistakes without the pressure of feeling like I needed to post on Sunday. So I was practicing videos and making mistakes for a couple of months before anyone ever even knew I had a YouTube channel. I remember my goal for April and May was just learning everything about how YouTube works. My goal for June was to film one video and edit it and everything from start to finish. Then in July, my goal was to try and do 2, then August 3 and September 4. So by the time October came, I would hopefully have a system and a decent enough skill set at making these videos. And there were so many little obstacles that I had to face that you would never even think of. Like I had all of these issues with SD cards and compatibility and files, losing files and editing software. I'm also colorblind, so trying to color correct and use some of this editing software is extremely challenging. And there were a lot of stressful moments. And if I had the additional stress of feeling like, oh, I said I'd have a video every Sunday, my next video isn't ready, then I definitely would have cracked and given up. But by the time October came, I had a few videos. Not all of the videos that I had practiced on were anyway ever going to see the light of day. But by the time I started, I had a bank of 3 to 4 videos ready to go. So then once I started publishing, I was already 4 weeks ahead of myself, which was a great buffer for if I needed to take a week off or if something unexpected came. Now on to the next part of my strategy, which is non-negotiable. This is always provide value. A business is an exchange, whether it's a physical product or a service or entertainment, but you need to be providing something of value that others want. And this is so important. And I think this is why my channel has been doing well. I've seen a lot of other new YouTubers with many more videos than me, and they're not growing at the same rate. And the difference is all of my videos pack a lot of value. My channel is all educational content because I'm a healthcare professional, and I'm providing really strong evidence-based information. Now, you don't need to be an expert in something to start a YouTube channel, but if your channel is simply lifestyle and vlogging what you did today or what you ate today, now you can do this and become a YouTuber, but it's just going to be a lot harder. You're going to have a really interesting life to build an audience through that. Now you could maybe put a spin on it, like this is what I ate today and this is what I did in the gym and this is why I did it. But I would recommend always trying to give your audience something. Now, if you're enjoying the video so far and I'm giving you some value, I would really appreciate it if you hit the red subscribe button below. Help me get to the next 1,000 subscribers. And I promise you'll get lots more health, nutrition and YouTube business advice. The next part of the strategy is learning SEO and learning it for yourself. Do not fall victim to the many people that are going to comment on your videos saying that they will optimize your SEO for you. If you're going to be a YouTuber or have any sort of a business online, it's really important to have a good grasp on SEO. This is search engine optimization, and YouTube is a search engine. In fact, it's the second biggest search engine after Google. Now, I did some basic SEO learning before I started, but I wish I did more because I can look back now and see that there were a few mistakes that I can't change now in terms of old videos that could have been further optimized for SEO. So what happened to me was after I started the YouTube channel in October, a month or 2 later, I decided I also wanted a really good website to go alongside the channel, which can be a very good idea for many YouTubers, especially if you're targeting AdSense from YouTube. You can also get AdSense from companies like Mediavine if you have a blog. Anyway, so in this process of learning how to build a website and code and make a WordPress site, I really started to become an SEO expert. So if I could go back, I would have done that way earlier on. And I would now really recommend a self-hosted WordPress site that does not include Wix to go alongside your YouTube channel for a lot of people. My next strategy is looking for low competition topics, and this feeds into smart SEO. So you want to make a video that doesn't have much competition. Take, for example, if I was to make a video, how to lose weight. I would have to compete with probably hundreds, thousands, I don't know, a million even, videos on YouTube about how to lose weight. What are the chances that my video is going to pop up when people search that? It's going to be pretty low. But if you can find topics that are a bit more unique, like I made a video called Diet and Hemochromatosis, which most people will have never heard of, and there is very few videos on the topic. So initially your video might not do that well because people will see it and be like, I don't know what that is, I'm just going to ignore that. But after a while, these videos do really well because the people who are interested in the topic, like they have this rare genetic condition, they're going to find this video and really think it's useful. And if they Google diet and hemochromatosis, it's the first thing that's going to come up. And they're going to watch it all the way through, which will really help with your watch time. And they'll be very interested and invested in your content. So looking for those low ticket, low competition topics can be a really useful strategy in the beginning. The next part of my strategy is leveraging social media. If you have any followers, share your YouTube channel across them. Send it to any friends and family. In the beginning stages, all of this is helpful. Now, I will say user behavior is different across social media platforms. So you might have a really engaged following on Instagram, but they might not have any interest in watching YouTube videos. So it may not always translate the way that you want it to, but it's still helpful. Now, it can be embarrassing at the start, but if you spent a few months preparing and practicing making videos, chances are your YouTube videos won't be too bad from the beginning. The next part of my strategy is having a business plan or a business model. It doesn't have to be anything too professional, but as a dietitian, I didn't learn anything about business in college. So in the last few years, I've invested a lot of time and money into learning about it, because business skills are very important to have in any career that you're in, really. But you need to know, is your whole business going to be YouTube? Are you aiming to just make money from AdSense and sponsorships and affiliates? Or is YouTube more a branch of your business? Like you're using your YouTube channel to maybe direct traffic to your website, to sell a product, to sell a service, money from blogging. But knowing this can help you plan accordingly. It'll help you figure out from the get-go, do you need to be plugging an email list or redirecting people to also follow you on Instagram? What do you actually need these YouTube viewers to do once they land? Also help you determine how much time and effort you should be putting into your YouTube videos. Do you need to be posting every week? Do you need to be posting twice a week? And it can help you build a sustainable plan going forward. For me, YouTube is a branch of a bigger business, but to really get it off the ground, I decided that I need to be posting one high quality long video a week, just for these beginning stages. I do think if you're trying to reach YouTube monetization or become somewhat of an established channel, one video a week is a good place to start in the beginning. Any less than this, it is still doable, but it's just going to take longer to see results. My next strategy is embracing conflict and controversial topics. Comments on YouTube can be a very unfiltered, scary place on the internet, particularly if you're talking about nutrition. So brace yourself here, but I would recommend always allowing your comments to be switched on. And if you ever get a comment that you don't like, you might be tempted to delete it. But in some ways, it's still good that you're getting these comments on your videos because people are interacting. So if you're brave, I would recommend commenting back. And just be polite. You don't have to agree with everyone. So I have a video where I mentioned that we should eat fruit and veg because plants are good for us. Never in a million years did I think this would be controversial, but oh my God, it was. I had a flood of people telling me that fruits and vegetables are toxic and that we should all be following a carnivore diet. Now, instead of getting upset, I just said, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for sharing your opinion. And it actually gave me the inspiration to make a whole other video on this topic. Interaction on YouTube is good, whether or not it's people agreeing with you or not. Now, I'm not saying go out there and be really controversial. Stick to your own values, but try to embrace everyone else's opinions too. Now, the next part of my strategy, which is always overlooked, and I actually overlooked it as well, is mindset. It's only looking back now that I realize I actually did a lot of this work, because that 6-month period gave me time to prepare my YouTube mindset. So starting any new business is tough and you will need resilience, and YouTube is no different. YouTube is a long game and it does not offer any of the instant gratification that you might get on TikTok or on Instagram. It requires a lot more work with little to no reward for a while. And according to YouTube, 50 million people are going to try and start channels in 2024, but only 2% of them will ever get to 10,000 subscribers. And YouTube is like a roller coaster of emotions. I had many evenings where I was embarrassed and wanted to give up, then I was excited, and yeah, it's just up and down. But I kept telling myself that the only way that I could fail now was if I was to quit. And during that 6-month period when I was learning about YouTube, I was listening to other YouTubers, I was listening to podcasts, listening to their videos, and I realized that they all had these moments where they questioned whether or not they could do it. And I had some evenings where I was going to bed at night and I was ready to throw in the towel. You're gonna have a lot of negative thoughts and imposter syndrome unless you're like really confident in your abilities, which is great if you are, go you. But actually preparing yourself and knowing that these thoughts are probably going to come is useful. So when they do come, you know what to do. Push them to the side. I'm also going to give some dietitian advice here, which I think relates to YouTube. Many people will start a diet and they'll do really well, and then somebody will give them a packet of cookies and they'll have one cookie, and then it'll be like, oh, I'll just have another cookie, and then it's, oh well, I just ruined the diet, let me have all of the cookies and I'll start my diet next week or next month. With YouTube, it can often become an all or nothing mindset. You might miss an upload and then decide, oh, well, I won't upload next week either, or I'll wait till that Amazon delivery with that new piece of equipment, and before you know it, like, you haven't posted all month. So I think it's important to learn when to just take a break, and it's okay to miss an upload, but to pick yourself back up and get back on track again. And it's very easy to get burnt out, so learn how to take a break. As simple as that sounds, learning how to take a break rather than completely throw in the towel is a really useful skill to have. Lastly, look after yourself. YouTube needs to be sustainable. The only way you will succeed is if you manage to keep going. And if you're doing YouTube and you have to give up your social life, you can no longer exercise or eat healthy or have time for anything else, it's not going to work for you. Anything that impacts your physical and mental health in a negative way, of course I'm a dietitian, so I'm going to be saying this, but it probably isn't worth it. YouTube is a lot of work, so it's all about finding ways to be productive if you do want to follow this path. I'm obsessed with everything productivity. If you haven't read this book, you need to get it. And are you even really an aspiring YouTuber if you haven't got Ali Abdaal's book? Anyway, thank you for watching my video. As always, please subscribe. I do also have an ebook with healthy recipes if that's something that you're interested in. I'll link it below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next week.